What if I told you that your body could actually rejuvenate every single night? Not with expensive supplements, not with extreme workouts, but simply with two overlooked nutrients that cost less than a cup of coffee. Would you believe me? Every day, millions of people wake up feeling stiff, sore, and older than they should. They assume that the aches, the slow recovery, the lack of energy are just part of aging. Others are convinced that as long as they eat enough protein shakes and log endless hours at the gym, they'll bounce back stronger. But here's the truth. Those beliefs are holding you back. And no, it's not magnesium, despite the endless ads and advice you've probably heard. While magnesium has its role, there are two far more powerful players that quietly determine whether your muscles heal, your joints stay resilient, and your immune system fights off inflammation as you sleep. These are the nutrients almost everyone overlooks, yet they hold the secret to feeling younger, stronger, and more alive every morning. Now, research has made it clear. Vitamin deficiencies directly weaken your muscles, slow your recovery, and compromise your immune defenses. So why do so many doctors and trainers barely talk about it? Why does the spotlight always shine on protein powders and trendy supplements, while the simplest, most effective tools get ignored? That's the question we'll unravel today. In this video, I'll share with you, drawing on decades of medical research and clinical experience here in the United States, the two vitamins that can transform the way your body repairs itself during sleep. This isn't just for athletes, it's for older adults, busy workers, and anyone who wants to wake up feeling renewed instead of drained. And trust me, by the end of this video, I'll reveal a practical method to apply this knowledge that almost nobody is talking about. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Where are you watching this from? And how old are you this year? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll do my best to respond to each one. Thank you for being here with us at Senior Health Tips, Healthy Aging. Now, let's get started. Second on the list, though don't let the ranking fool you, is vitamin D. And I'll tell you this right now. Even though it sits here as number 2, its impact can be nothing short of life-changing. Some people even call it a hormone in disguise, because technically that's closer to what it really is. See, most of us grow up thinking of vitamins as little helpers we get from food. Nice add-ons may be important, but not much more than that. But vitamin D is different. It behaves like a hormone, influencing the way your body produces testosterone, how well you absorb calcium, and even how efficiently your muscles grow and repair themselves. In other words, it quietly runs the systems that decide whether you feel strong and resilient, or fragile and worn down. Now let me paint you a picture. Imagine a man in his late 60s, living here in the US, who's been fairly active his whole life. He enjoys gardening, takes walks, even plays the occasional round of golf. But as the years pass, he notices something shifting. His legs feel weaker. He's sore after simple activities. One day, he trips on the sidewalk and ends up with a fractured wrist. At first, everyone chalks it up to just getting older. But when his doctor checks his labs, the real culprit becomes clear. His vitamin D levels are dangerously low. And this story isn't unusual. In fact, it's far more common than most people realize. A large Harvard study revealed that more than 40% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D. That's almost half the population walking around with a hidden weakness that affects not just bones, but muscles, energy, and even mood. When you're low in vitamin D, your muscles don't recover as quickly, your strength slips away, and your risk of falls and fractures skyrockets. But here's the hopeful part. I've seen firsthand how quickly things can turn around when this deficiency is corrected. One of my patients, an older woman recovering from hip surgery, was struggling to get back on her feet. Her pain was intense, and her progress in physical therapy was painfully slow. When we tested her, sure enough, her vitamin D levels were in the basement. We started supplementation, nothing exotic, just a daily dose tailored to her needs. Within weeks, she began regaining strength. Her mood lifted, and over the next months, her recovery sped up in ways that even surprised her therapists. That's the hidden power of vitamin D. It doesn't just support your body, it sets the stage for healing and vitality that many people have forgotten is possible. Now, you might be wondering, if it's so important, why are so many of us lacking it? The answer lies partly in modern life. Our ancestors got plenty of vitamin D simply by being outside under the sun. But today, we spend more time indoors, slather on sunscreen when we do go out, and live at latitudes where winter sunlight just isn't strong enough. Add in age, because as we get older, our skin produces less vitamin D naturally. And you have the perfect recipe for widespread deficiency. The good news? It's surprisingly simple to turn things around. For most people, a small, consistent dose of vitamin D makes all the difference. And here's a little insider tip that not everyone knows. If you take your vitamin D supplement in the evening with a meal that contains healthy fats, say avocado, olive oil, or even a piece of salmon, your body absorbs it much more efficiently. It's a small adjustment, but one that can make a noticeable difference in your levels over time. So when I say vitamin D can change your life, I don't mean that lightly. I mean it can be the difference between waking up stiff and sluggish, or waking up ready to move with energy. The difference between a long, slow recovery after a surgery or injury, and one where your body surprises you with its resilience. And for older adults especially, it can be the difference between maintaining independence and strength, or facing the setbacks of avoidable falls and fractures. Think about that for a moment. One simple nutrient, overlooked by nearly half the population, quietly shaping the way you age, the way you heal, the way you feel in your own body. It may be number 2 on my list today, but in your life, it might just be number 1. Standing at number 1 on our list is a nutrient that's so ordinary, so cheap, you can find it in every supermarket aisle in America. Yet, hidden beneath its humble reputation, it quietly determines how fast your body heals, how resilient your skin and joints remain, and even how young you feel day after day. I'm talking about vitamin C, the silent warrior of recovery. You've probably heard about vitamin C in the context of colds or immune support. Most people think of a glass of orange juice in the morning and call it a day. But here's the truth. Vitamin C does far more than just keep sniffles away. Inside your body, it plays a starring role in building collagen, the protein that's literally the glue holding your skin, muscles, tendons, and bones together. Without enough vitamin C, that glue weakens, repairs slow down, and what should be a smooth recovery becomes a long, frustrating process. Think of it this way. Imagine trying to build a house out of bricks, but you don't have any cement to hold them together. You can stack those bricks as high as you like, but the moment pressure hits, the whole thing starts to wobble. That's exactly what happens inside your body when you're low on vitamin C. Your body still tries to repair itself. It lays down the bricks of protein and tissue. But without collagen synthesis running at full power, the structure is fragile. Now let me share a real-world example. One of my patients, a 40-year-old tennis player, came to me after struggling with recurring elbow pain. He trained hard, ate what he thought was a balanced diet, and did all the stretching his coach recommended. Yet, every time he pushed himself, the pain came right back. When we looked deeper, his vitamin C intake was surprisingly low. After making small changes, adding fresh kiwi and red bell peppers to his meals, and occasionally supplementing with a fizzy vitamin C drink before bed, his recovery times shortened dramatically. Within months, not only was he back on the court, but he was playing with an energy he hadn't felt in years. And this isn't just anecdotal. The Mayo Clinic conducted research showing that vitamin C supplementation can cut recovery time after injuries by nearly 30%. Think about what that means in everyday life. Whether you're an athlete coming back from a sprain, a grandparent healing after a fall, or simply someone who feels sore after yard work, 30% faster healing is a game changer. That could be the difference between being sidelined for months or bouncing back in weeks. But beyond muscles and joints, vitamin C is also a powerful antioxidant. Every day, your body is under attack from what scientists call free radicals, tiny unstable molecules that accelerate aging and inflammation. Vitamin C acts like a bodyguard, neutralizing those radicals before they cause damage. Less inflammation means less pain, smoother movement, and a body that doesn't feel weighed down by constant aches. Here's another way to picture it. Imagine your body is like a car engine. Every time it runs, a little bit of rust tries to form. Vitamin C is like the anti-rust spray, quietly protecting every part so the machine keeps running smoothly. Without it, the wear and tear build up faster, and suddenly the engine feels older than it should. The best part? Unlike some nutrients that are tricky to absorb or require special timing, vitamin C is incredibly accessible. You don't need exotic powders or expensive supplements. Everyday foods like red bell peppers, kiwi, strawberries, and yes, even that classic glass of orange juice, can flood your body with what it needs. For those who prefer an easy boost, a simple effervescent vitamin C tablet dissolved in water before bed not only helps with absorption but also feels refreshing, almost like a small evening ritual of self-care. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Pairing vitamin C with foods rich in collagen, like bone broth, or with vitamin E can amplify its effects even more. It's like giving your body both the raw materials and the protective shield to rebuild itself stronger than before. So when we call vitamin C the silent warrior, it's because most people underestimate it. They walk past it in the store, dismissing it as too ordinary, when in reality, it's working behind the scenes to keep their bodies young, resilient, and ready for the challenges of life. And maybe the most beautiful thing about vitamin C is its simplicity. It doesn't demand complicated routines. It's not exclusive to athletes or specialists. It's available to everyone, affordable, accessible, and powerful enough to change the way you recover, the way you feel, and even the way you age. You might be wondering, why do some people bounce back so quickly, while others feel sore and sluggish for days? Why does age seem to slow down recovery for some, but not for everyone? The truth is, it's not just about how hard you train or how much protein you take in. There's something deeper happening inside the body, quietly shaping the way you heal and the way you age. And this brings us to one of the most fascinating, yet often overlooked truths about health. It's not flashy, it's not complicated, but it can change everything about how you recover. I like to call this part the hidden science of recovery. Why sleep and 2 simple nutrients change everything. Most people think of sleep as just rest. You close your eyes, drift off for a few hours, and that's it. But in reality, sleep is much more than that. It is the body's most powerful anabolic window, the hidden workshop where true recovery takes place. While you're asleep, growth hormone surges like the foreman of a construction crew, directing resources to repair damaged muscles, restore tissues, and recharge your immune defenses. Cortisol, the stress hormone that wears you down during the day, finally quiets down, giving your body space to heal instead of constantly fighting. Testosterone stabilizes, ensuring strength and vitality are preserved. Sleep, in other words, is not a pause. It's the overnight shift of workers rebuilding the city of your body, fixing the roads, replacing the lights, clearing the debris. Without that shift, everything slowly falls into disrepair. And yet, so many of us undermine this natural gift. We assume that grabbing a protein shake after the gym is enough, or we pop a magnesium pill and believe we've solved recovery. These habits are not useless, but they are incomplete. It's like putting gas in your car but never changing the oil. Yes, it will run, for a while. But sooner or later the engine will fail, not for lack of fuel, but because the essential maintenance was ignored. Protein on its own cannot rebuild muscle if your body is missing the tools to assemble the tissue. Magnesium may help you relax, but it does not substitute for the orchestrated symphony of vitamins and hormones that work together at night. And the greatest mistake of all is cutting sleep short, robbing your body of the very hours when this construction work is supposed to happen. No supplement in the world can replace that lost shift. True recovery is never about just one piece of the puzzle. It is a layered process that requires raw materials, the right hormonal environment, and the respect for rest. This is where vitamin D and vitamin C step in, not as isolated helpers, but as partners in a powerful synergy. Vitamin D provides the building blocks, the beams, the framework, the raw material that makes your bones and muscles sturdy. Vitamin C acts like the cement and the protective coating, holding everything together while shielding it from inflammation and damage. Alone, each nutrient plays its part, but when they come together, they create something stronger and more lasting than either could achieve on its own. Think of a young athlete in his 20s. His recovery seems effortless, his muscles bounce back, and his energy flows without interruption. Contrast that with a 70-year-old who spends weekends in the garden but struggles with soreness that lingers and joints that complain. For him, the missing link is often these very nutrients. When vitamin D and C are restored, the pace of recovery shifts. Muscles feel stronger, injuries heal more smoothly, and daily life no longer feels like an uphill battle. This partnership isn't just a theory. Studies and decades of clinical experience both show that people who maintain healthy levels of vitamin D and C not only recover faster, but also protect their immune system, preserve their strength, and sustain their quality of life well into later years. And it's not only about athletes pushing for performance, it's about every one of us. Whether you're working long shifts, running after children, or simply trying to enjoy retirement without being slowed down by pain, these two nutrients help ensure that your body has both the bricks and the cement, the workers and the materials, the design and the durability. Recovery becomes smoother, energy returns, and instead of constantly patching over cracks, you're building a stronger foundation for the years ahead. You see, recovery isn't just about rebuilding muscles. It's about calming the hidden fires inside your body, the kind you don't feel until they've already slowed you down for years. And this is where things get interesting. Because two simple nutrients, ones you can find on almost any grocery shelf, hold the power to not only speed up recovery, but also to shield your immune system and bring back a level of vitality most people think is gone for good. Let's dive into how they do it. D. This is the part that most videos online never touch, yet it may be the real secret behind why your muscles don't fully bounce back. Chronic inflammation, this hidden enemy, quietly slows down every repair process in your body. It's like trying to rebuild a house while a small fire still smolders inside. No matter how much effort you put into repairs, the damage keeps spreading. That's where vitamins D and C step in. Together, they don't just rebuild, they also cool the flames, strengthening your immune defenses and calming inflammation, so recovery can actually happen. And the story becomes even more important when we talk about older adults. Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans over 65 are deficient in vitamin D? That deficiency shows up in ways many people mistake for just aging: more falls, restless nights, slow recovery after an illness. But when those gaps are filled, the change can feel remarkable. I remember one of my patients, a 72-year-old man who struggled with balance and fatigue. After 3 months of consistent vitamin D and C support, he wasn't just steadier on his feet. He walked into my office with a smile, saying he finally felt strong enough to enjoy his morning walks again. So how do you make this real in your own life? Start with food. Fatty fish, eggs, and fortified dairy bring in vitamin D, while bell peppers, kiwis, and strawberries flood your system with vitamin C. Supplements can help too, especially in winter or when sunlight is scarce. And if you want a simple way to track your progress, Try a 30-day challenge. In week 1, notice your energy levels. By week 2, pay attention to your sleep. Week 3, see how your muscles feel after activity. And by week 4, compare the overall picture. You may be surprised by how much lighter, stronger, and more resilient your body feels. At the end of the day, your body doesn't really need expensive secrets or complicated hacks. It doesn't take exotic powders, celebrity-endorsed supplements, or the latest fitness craze. What it needs are 2 simple nutrients, vitamin D and vitamin C, used at the right time, in the right way. They're basic, affordable, and often overlooked, yet they quietly support the very things that matter most. Stronger muscles, deeper sleep, faster recovery, and an immune system that can actually keep up with the demands of your life. So here's my challenge for you. Give it 30 days. Start small. Maybe it's adding a few slices of kiwi at night, or making sure you take your vitamin D with dinner. Notice how your mornings feel, how your energy shifts, how your body bounces back after a tough day. Write it down. And then, at the end of those 30 days, look back and compare where you started to, where you are. The results might surprise you more than any workout program or pricey supplement ever could. And when you do, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below. Tell me your age, your story, what changes you've noticed. Because your experience may be the very encouragement someone else needs to take that first step. This channel has always been about learning and growing together, not chasing quick fixes. And one more thing. If you're already thinking, well, I've got vitamin D and vitamin C covered, so I'm all set, don't be too sure. Because in the next video, I'm going to share a nutrient that's even stronger than both of them combined. A nutrient most people have never heard of, but one that could completely change the way your body recovers, ages, and stays resilient. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.